In the 1980s, Zambia, particularly the city of Lusaka, would be plagued by killings of girls and women. This killing spree would go from January of 1980 to September of 1980, earning Zambia a world record killing spree. This is the story of Milton Sipalo, also known as the Lusaka Strangler.
Hi guys, I'm back. Your girl is back. Hope you missed me. I missed filming and getting the episodes. Yeah, today's case is an interesting one. Shout out to Mukanzala for recommending this case to me. The funny thing is I thought I actually knew this case because I was researching a similar case. I didn't want to research it because like, okay, I know this case. But then when I actually Googled it, it was something different. So yeah, very interesting. I had been researching cases before this, but then it took this one to actually make me jump out of my seat, like be intrigued. I was like, this is the first one I'm coming back with. So I hope you guys missed me. I'm back. If you're new here, hi, my name is Keziah. I make true crime and makeup videos, and I upload, I won't say every Wednesday, but I'll be a lie. But I upload on Wednesdays. So subscribe and turn on post notifications to know when it's Wicked Wednesday. So today's case is that of the Lusaka Strangler. Very intriguing. A world record case, actually. So I made history with this case in the 1980s. Let's get into it, y'all. Browse a field, you already know the vibes. I want to do a season 22 beat down, but it's so cold right now. Cold weather equals bass and a board lip. That's what cold weather gives to me. So that's what we're doing today. January 5th, 1980, the corpse of a young woman is found by locals behind Lusaka Boys Primary School. The playing field of Lusaka Boys Primary School. The locals call the police. The police are unable to identify the body because the body is already partly decomposed. This will be the first killing of many, but going from January 1980 to September of 1980. From the way the body looked when it was found, it was evident to officers that the murder had already happened somewhere else. The victim was later identified as 21-year-old Keziah, who was traveling from Sinazongwe to Lusaka and then going off to Kitwe in order to go for interviews at CBU, then called ZIT. She was passing through Lusaka to drop a letter off to her brother and then off to ZIT for interviews. Unfortunately, that journey was cut short. January 6th, the next day, another victim is found. The body of a woman was found in a bushy footpath off Chitukuko Road in Lusaka. The body of the woman had bruises around her neck, bruises around her navel, as well as a foam-like substance forming around the mouth. So COD was determined to be obviously strangulation while they tried to determine what the foam-like substance around the mouth was. 25 days after the first body is found, another body is found. This time of another 21-year-old woman. She was also strangled, as well as had bruises around her navel and another foam-like substance around her mouth. This time, though, locals did not who she was with. The people that last saw her did not who she was with, what she was wearing, what the person she was with was wearing. So that was the first real lead in the case as far as these murders were concerned. In the month of January, it is recorded that 3 to 5 women were killed by the same person in the month of January alone. Unfortunately, cases like this would go on in Lusaka until the 16th victim, with no real leads from police as to who was killing these women, how, what was the pattern, why. All those questions were left unanswered. The 16th victim was a 15-year-old girl by the name of Miriam Chuila. Next to the victim was a note from the strangler. The note was presumably from the strangler to maybe an accomplice. At this time, they did not know if they were dealing with a gang or one person, but the note, it wasn't sure, they also weren't sure if the note was for them, for the victim, or the people responsible for the killings were trying to communicate to each other. So they found a note. That was the next real lead in the case. Sources on this case had like different ways of telling the story. But one thing I noted was the police were kind of reluctant. Okay, I won't say reluctant because obviously there was unrest in Lusaka at the time. But investigations weren't serious until there was a victim at Nipa. An 18-year-old victim she was raped and strangled, and her naked body was hung at the fence. That was the last straw for the police, I guess, also as well for the police as well as people in charge, because I think now it was like he was mocking them in some way. So that was the last straw. So before I came across this piece of information, I was just like, well, at least, I don't know what I was thinking, I was just like, at least he wasn't like abusing his victims, which is kind of a shallow thought if I do so for myself, because like death is like, murdering someone is like final boss level crime. Like, now you just loved someone. But in my head I was like, at least it didn't add insult to injury, but like murder is like final boss level crime, you know. So yeah, my bad. But the final straw was when the 18-year-old was raped and murdered, and then her body was hung at Nipa. Mind you, this man, he distributed the bodies. He wasn't like if he killed in Kamwala South, the bodies would be in Kamwala South. This man distributed the bodies. Look, modern day locations include like a place near Intercontinental Hotel, Manda Hill, Arcades, Kamwala South, Nipa, and if you've been to Lusaka, these are places that are far from each other. Place near Woodlands, these are places that are far from each other, and this man made sure he distributed bodies. I guess maybe spreading the fear, but also making sure maybe he doesn't get caught, because maybe if he distributed them in one place, police would be in one place. But yeah, he made sure he distributed bodies. So after the case with the Nipa case happened, people grew even more uneasy, and they asked the government to like call for international help, like the Scotland Yard of Britain and some special task force in Germany whose name I cannot pronounce. But the government obviously declined, and it's actually not surprising that they declined. First of all, the cost of having international help, number one. Number two, while it's like 16 years after independence, it's still kind of short. And I get it. You don't want to seem dependent on your colonial masters lest you invite them back to colonize you. Like, I get it. Like, I get why. Now, anyway, I get why international help wasn't an option. So a special task force was set up. Special Investigative Team, abbreviated SIT, was set up to investigate these murders, like get to the bottom of this, because before people get even more unruly, more unrest and all that stuff, like calm the people, catch this murderer. Because at this point, he was like the 16th victim, maybe even 17. Women and girls, no men. All his victims were female. So a special task force was set up. The force was headed by Superintendent William Mundia. Along with setting up a force, the government imposed a curfew. Along with the curfew also came media campaigns, as well as a 10,000 kwacha reward to whoever was able to help catch the killer. At the time this was happening, the death toll had now gone up from 1 or 16, well, last 16, had gone up to 23 women and girls. So special surveillance was set up by SIT in Lusaka, special surveillance, especially around places where bodies were found, as well as very public places like a bus stop, the intercities, Kamwala station, and all that stuff. Surveillance was set up to monitor the area and look for any suspecting people, as well as monitor women, like who are they talking to, what are they doing. July 16th, 1980, Constable Chikwati, who was monitoring Kamwala station, noticed a woman wearing at 7:30 p.m. that's 19 hours. Noticed the woman talking to a soldier in combat gear.
The soldier was short and stout, had no beard and traditional marks on his face. The woman was 19-year-old Nora Chikoti, and she was quite tall, a lot of hair, brown. Nora was traveling from Kitwe to Lusaka to see her parents, which was like, you read that they're killing suicides and you reach Lusaka at 19 hours. Can never be me. But I also get the appeal of talking to a stranger in a soldier's uniform. At the time this was happening, because it's just like, who better to protect you than a soldier? But anyway, the detective noted this, and he noted this, but then what puzzled me is that he did nothing about it. Okay, so they were talking, Nora and the soldier were talking, and then the soldier asked for her movements, asked for her ID, which is her NRC, and then he got her bags and then walked off with them. Got her luggage and walked off with the luggage. And Nora was forced, because he was walking really fast, or maybe running, but he was at high speed, and then Nora was forced to go after him. Upon going after him, they reached a narrow path. And at the narrow path, the soldier asked Nora if he would be able to recognize him if he didn't have his combat gear on him. Nora said she would. And at that point, the soldier lunged at her and strangled her. When he strangled her, she fell to the ground. Now keep in mind, Nora was quite tall and he was quite short. So she fell to the ground and he continued strangling her. He pulled out something that looked like a spanner and hit her on her navel. While he was hitting her, he said something in the lines of, "You are the one that will cause me to get arrested. I have killed everyone that I have met." Nora was screaming at this point, and they were near a place where there were guards. So the guards heard the screaming and started running towards the footpath and the bush-like area while blowing their whistle. At this point, Nyambe fled. The guards found Nora and they immediately phoned the seat. When she was at the police station in the seat, they asked her questions, and of course she described the man to them. She also said it would be of any help if the man was already arrested. She would easily identify the man. That was the first real lead they had, though, like, where, like, if they caught him, they had that evidence with them, like they had Nora with them. So they took that down. At this point, the death toll was still growing. People were still uneasy. Women were still dying. But at least they had one victim that lived to tell the tale. So in case they caught him, they had someone that was able to identify him as the one that was responsible for the killings. It was at this point that police narrowed down their search to a soldier or someone dressed in combat uniform. So now they knew what they were looking at. They knew what they were looking for. The next day, he would claim he's the next victim, and the killings would stop for the entire month of August until September. The next body that was found in September, I do not know the actual date, because dates after this kind of messed up in the article, but I just know it's September, so I'm not going to mention exact dates. Maybe even throughout the video, dates may be wrong, but months are accurate. So yeah, just a disclaimer. So in September, next victim, one of the last of his victims was found. This time, instead of his usual method of strangulation, hitting the navel, the body of this particular victim was mutilated, and mutilated so bad her guts were spilling out. So don't know if he cut it, Don't know what happened, but her intestines were spitting out. That's how she died. I'm guessing maybe because he probably knew that someone had lived, one of his victims had lived, tried to switch it up, so maybe deviate attention, maybe, I don't know. But the police weren't fooled, actually. They knew it was still the same person. So that was the next recorded victim. So in that very month of September, a woman by the name of Josephine, I'm not going to be mentioning last names anymore just because I don't want to butcher people's names. A woman by the name of Josephine was traveling from Chingola to Mumbwa, passing through Lusaka. So on her journey, she was traveling with her baby girl. So on her journey, she befriended another woman who was traveling to Petauke. So when they reached the bus terminus, obviously, when they reached Intercity, they arrived late. Because it was too late for Josephine and the woman to travel to where they were going, they decided, oh, let's spend the night at the station, which is very common. People do sleep at Intercity. So not long after they figure out their logistics, you know, they'll sleep there, they'll do shani. They are approached by two men, one in combat gear, the other was in a green uniform. So the men ask the women about their movements, where they're going. They ask for ID, and the women gladly answer, because obviously, like, you are either very trusting of a soldier or you are scared. In the African setup anyway, you are scared of a soldier. Like, you don't want to come off too cheeky. And at the time when they were killing, obviously a soldier approaches you, obviously they assume you're in safe hands. So anyway, the soldiers offer to take the women in, like, we're sleeping at a nearby hotel, let's go, we can offer you like accommodation for the night. So the women decline, but then one of the soldiers gets the luggage of the Petauke woman and then goes off with it. So the soldiers go off with the luggage. The woman is forced to follow her luggage. Josephine is reluctant. She has a baby girl. She doesn't want to go off with strangers, so she just stays there. After some time, presumably an hour or two, the soldier in combat gear comes back. He comes back to tell Jonathan, oh, did I say Jonathan? Oh my god. To tell Josephine her friend had found accommodation with his friend and that she's comfortably sleeping where she is. So they've come to ask if she's sure, if she wants to, you know, she just be, you know, basically, are you sure you want to sleep here? You have a baby girl, you know the psychology. So reluctantly, obviously, she obliges. She has a baby girl on her back. He wants somewhere comfortable to sleep, and seeing as the person she was with had already gone, I was like, okay. So as they walk, they're near a bush. So there's two renditions to this story. The first one, okay, it's not really renditions, but like it's just part of it. So they walk near a bush, and then the soldier charges at Josephine and strangles her, and she's unconscious. She wakes up later that night at around 03, and then finds nearby houses and then calls for help. They accommodate her, and then she calls the police. They call the police and they come. The other one is that it's not really different, but it's just like just a little detail just in case. The other one is that as they were walking, the man offered her a drink, a Fanta, and that was the last thing she remembers. The next thing she remembers, she was unconscious in a bush path, and then she went to ask for help. So yeah, just putting it out there just in case you have a different version. Seat comes the next day. So considering that now they have two victims of this person that have lived to tell the tale, they now discover that it's a pattern. Now they set a trap for him using Josephine. The baby was still alive, by the way. The baby was still alive. The soldier had identified himself when he met Nora. So he identified himself as Lieutenant Nyambe. So the task force sets up a trap for this man. They know what they're looking for. They know it's a station. They know he's looking for women, young women, and they know it's presumably women that are new to Lusaka. So they set a trap for him using Josephine, which is kind of questionable, because why would you use a victim, you know? But anyway, they set a trap for him at about, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's Kamwala bus station, if it's Kamwala station or Intercity bus terminus, but they set a trap for him using Josephine at 7 p.m. so at night, at his prime time. So she looks lost. Obviously, that's the gimmick. He approaches her. Thankfully, he approaches her and kind of seems to recognize her. But it's like, I think I met you before. And she's like, no, I'm traveling from Chingola. I'm new to Lusaka and all that stuff. So then he offers help Shani, but then Josephine knew this was the man that attacked her. She knew, but if she needed any more confirmation, she noticed her watch. Her watch that she had on the day she was attacked was missing when she woke up. She noticed that the man was wearing her watch. Another thing that was missing was her wedding ring. The only thing she had on her when she woke up was her NRC. So she recognized her watch. So upon confirming that this is indeed the man that attacked me, the man offered help, of course, and she accepted. She was like, let me go get my luggage real quick. Let me go back there, get my luggage, and then we can go. But when she went back, she went to signal to the detective that that's the man, arrest him. So she told the detectives, and on the signal, they moved in and arrested Lieutenant Nyambe. Now, when they arrested him, of course, he put up a fight. He's not going down without a fight, especially if he's a real soldier. He's not going down to Sipo police without a fight. No way. So yeah, he put up a cute little fight. But obviously, I'm telling this story that didn't work. Now, the investigative team didn't waste time moving in and interrogate. Like, they didn't waste time starting interrogations on the man. And upon interrogating him, it was discovered that his name wasn't actually Lieutenant Nyambe. That was just his alias. His real name was Milton Sipalo of Arakan Barracks. Milton Sipalo of house number 23. They even had the house number. House number 23, Arakan Barracks. So when they did discover his identity, his location, they went to raid his house. And they found things. They found a lot of property, a lot of bags belonging to victims, some of them belonging to Josephine and Nora. So, yeah. When he was asked about why he had Josephine's things, his story was that she went to his house to have sexual relations, and then he noticed she had bruises on her stomach, so decided not to have sexual relations with her, and then she left the next morning and didn't come back for her things. Smooth. Just to make sure he was really the man committing the crimes, they called in Nora. You're the first victim that survived him. They called her in, and then they paraded him, and Nora identified him straight away. And then, of course, after he was identified by Nora and Josephine, he didn't deny the allegations anymore. He also confirmed that he did have a right-hand man or a friend helping him. All right, I had to switch up my lip really quickly. You guys know I'm obsessed with nudes. So I had to blot off some of the lipstick and put on some gloss. I'm obsessed with nudes and gloss. But anyway, he did confirm that he had someone helping him, and the name of the person he identified is Kenneth Kalowa. But because there was no actual evidence linking Kenneth to any of the crimes, and none of the women, Josephine or Nora, were able to identify him, he was released from police custody. Now, they have their man. They can now charge him. The day after he was identified as, okay, now this is Milton Sipalo. He was being transported from Central Police to somewhere, but he got I don't know how, but he escaped police clutches, police custody, and he got to the top of the building. According to my information and my research, the building was the Lusaka Central Police building. He got to the top of it and he was trying to attempt suicide. So the fire brigade came, the police came, and obviously there were spectators, and they were trying to make him reconsider, like, don't kill yourself. Unfortunately, he did throw himself from the top of the building, and that's how he died. So yeah, I left more questions than answers because they really got nothing from him before he died. He didn't say why. The easiest way out for a serial killer is killing himself. So that was sad. That was really sad. So guys, that's the case of the Lusaka Strangler. This case had me on my, had my true crime senses tingling. I was like, this is the case I'm coming back with. Like, it just excited me. That was the case of that man. If you have more information, if I've missed something, you guys already know the drill. Fact check me in the comments, or if I've missed something, add it to the comments. Make sure someone knows something I haven't talked about, or let me know something I haven't talked about. But at the time of his death, the number of his victims was 31, with 2 survivors. That's the case of the Lusaka Strangler. Very intriguing, very terrifying times, honestly. So that's it, folks. Not sure if we're back with weekly uploads. I'm not sure I can sustain weekly uploads with like vlogs and everything. When I have the tech capabilities to have Wicked Wednesday episodes, I promise you I will. So if you're new here, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you know more information, fact check me in the comments. Tell us in the comments. We love to know. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Hopefully you subscribe. See you guys. If you guys are still here for my lifestyle content, see you guys on Saturday. If you are here for my true crime content, see you next time I upload the Wicked Wednesday episode. So turn on post notifications. I'll see you guys in my next video.